He became famous on the football field as a quarterback at Syracuse University and later in the CFL and NFL.
Now, instead of leading a team on the field, Don McPherson wants to lead young people on the winning path to adulthood. He is speaking to a Boys and Girls Club in Buffalo later tonight, and he joins us now live to talk more about it. Don, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
So tonight's talk, it ties into something you founded, Aspire New York. For those who don't know, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I've been working in New York State on a variety of different programs, starting many years ago in the 80s with a program called Athletes Against Drunk Driving. And it was always about prevention programming and having a similar conversation in schools and workplace and families. And Aspire New York, the idea behind it is to have a common conversation across the social ecosystem. So our schools, workplace, organizations like the Boys and Girls Club, having a common conversation across the entire social ecosystems so that we're working towards a unified goal.
Don, I imagine you do this work all over, the state, maybe even the country you travel, and so you hear from young people from all over, lots of different experiences, although I'm sure there are some commonalities. What do you hear from young people these days? What are they dealing with?
I think most especially right now, young people are getting a different message from the adults, not just in their lives, but through social media, through media, about how they're supposed to behave versus how they feel. And I think especially with the focus of the work that I do with OPDV, the Office for the Prevention of Domestic Violence, for young men, the messages about what it means to be a whole man are not necessarily the messages that boys are hearing in a very positive way. And so that's kind of the central part of this message, is giving boys something whole and aspirational to work towards.
Don, it's not just you talking to these groups, right? It's really about conversation. Why would you say that active engagement is so crucial?
I said a moment ago about social media, and especially the concept of Aspire New York, about getting to all different parts of the social ecosystem, looking at the work that OPDV is doing, looking at the work that the Boys and Girls Club is doing, and the work of people like myself are doing. If we don't come together as a unified force in these conversations, then young people are hearing disparate messages, and we want to get them to something that, as I said a moment ago, that they can work towards. So it's really important for communities to come together to have that unified conversation.
To put a finer point on that, Don, I imagine we're going to try to get as many people out to the event tonight as possible, but for those who really are interested in this topic, they may have children, they're not able to get there. What advice do you offer to parents or to adults who interact with children to maybe make that message more cohesive and maybe go along with the rest of their lives?
I think it's really important with young people. I learned a long time ago to teach them what they can become as opposed to what they should avoid. And I've been doing work in the prevention space, preventing drunk driving, preventing domestic violence. We really need to start promoting something. We need to start speaking with positive language. That's why aspirational masculinity is so important. It's about what do we want for our children, not just what do we want them to avoid. And so I talk about working towards excellence. I talk about moving away from prevention and promoting positive conversations.
And Don, I'm curious too, what has the response been after these talks? What do you hear back from the young adults and children?
I think most especially, again, a lot of my work is focused on boys. But I say so often I say things out loud that we all think in private, or that we think that, the 800-pound gorilla in the room that no one wants to confront. I say those things out loud very often, and sometimes adults might cringe a little bit, but young people are so relieved that someone is saying something out loud, and it makes them feel safe to have those complex and complicated conversations.
Okay. All right, Don, tell us if folks want to go tonight, where do they need to be? What time? Is there a cost or anything like that? And is there a place they could find more information?
We're at the Boys and Girls Club. As far as I know, there's no cost, and we'll be here from 6 to 8 tonight.
Wonderful. We, of course, will make sure we have all of that information on our website, WIVB.com, for anyone out there interested. Don McPherson, thank you so much for taking the time to join us this afternoon, and thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you for having me here.
Great talking to you, Don. Thank you.